Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back. It's Travis here with JT Wealth. In today's video, I am going to touch briefly on the FIRE movement, the difference between saving and investing, and 3 ETFs that I think you should be invested in to help make your financial independence dreams a reality. So let's get into it. All right, like I said, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you find something of value in today's video. If you do, take 2 seconds out of your day, smash that like button for me, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Now, hopefully everybody is enjoying their weekend. I know we are. We're actually going to a concert tonight live in person, which is super exciting because it's probably only the second time we've done that in the last year and a half. So I do look forward to that, and hopefully you guys are all doing something productive with your weekend as well. And I'm excited to bring you today's video because a lot of times, whether I'm at my office job or out and about and discussing finance with people I meet, which is kind of strange, but I tend to do it, people ask me a lot of questions about the FIRE movement, about how to start, where they can really get settled in to a plan that will help them create a financial independence situation for them so that they can either retire to something different or set themselves up for success in the future. So because a lot of what we're talking about is based on that FIRE movement or financial independence, retire early, let's take a look real quick at what that really is. So FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early, just like I said. And FIRE investors save as much of their income as possible during their working years, hoping to attain financial independence at a young age and maintain it through the rest of their life, or AKA retirement. But even in the definition there's something that I want to point out, and that's that save your income does not mean put it in a savings account. I'm going to show you guys the difference between what would happen if you put $1,000 in a savings account versus if you put $1,000 in an investment over a 5-year time span, okay? We're also going to look at a graph that showcases the difference between what would happen over a 30-year time frame, and it's significantly different. So I don't want you to get confused over saving your income. What they really mean is save the money, don't spend it, but then invest it. Savings is things that you do, just, money you put aside for holidays, Christmas, shopping, maybe a little vacation. But investing, that's what you're doing for the long term, whether that's for your retirement or your kids' college education. It is stuff that is occurring 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And like I said, I'm going to show you 3 ETFs that I'm personally invested in that are going to create the basis for my financial security and my financial freedom in the years to come. So just stay with me, we're going to get to those. But I do want to point out that if you consider savings a mode of setting yourself up for financial success, you are already setting yourself up for failure, okay? Because a savings account has such a small interest rate, and when compared to inflation, you are losing money every day, every year going forward. So anything you have in a savings account, I can understand setting yourself up for, like 3 months worth of expenses should something happen with your job, because you definitely don't want to have to dump any money out of an investment account and pay the fees or the taxes on that money. So having some money in savings for emergencies, that's important. But you don't want to have so much in a savings account that you lose out on the compounding interest you would be gaining in your investments. So here's a good way to kind of envision this whole thing. And this I found on the internet. It says over a 30-year period, the market average will outperform a savings account by over 19,000%. Yes, that's 19,000%. That's insane. So the numbers they used here are, in my opinion, a little bit, strange. The checking account at 0.5%, I think that's an impressive checking account. The savings account, 0.9%, that's also above the average that I've found. And the investing account sitting at about 7%, okay, maybe that's about accurate. The S&P 500 is sitting closer to maybe 10% a year. But nonetheless, let's just assume that they were being a little bit helpful in comparing these numbers. But when you look at it over the 30-year time frame, that investing account is absolutely destroying the checking account and the savings account, and this does not take inflation into account. Let's look at a shorter term example though. Say you have $1,000 right now and it's sitting in a checking account or a savings account and it's earning you 0.5% interest, okay? Over 5 years, that $1,000 is gonna make you $25.25. So after 5 years, you'd have $1,025.25. But would you really have that much money? And is $1,000 today worth what $1,000 in 5 years is? Well, check out the inflation rates between 2011 and 2021. Not one of them is 0.5%. The closest was 2015 at 0.7%. But for the last 5 years, you've had this year 5.4%, 1.4% in 2020, 2.3% in 2019, 1.9% in 2018, and 2.1% in 2017. These numbers are far exceeding the amount you're earning in that 0.5% interest rate for a checking or a savings account. So your money is just dwindling away. It's no longer worth what it used to be worth. This is where investing comes into play. It becomes so useful that, as a matter of fact, the excuse that I don't have any money to invest is so far-fetched and so silly to me when I hear it, knowing what I know now, because you don't have the money not to invest. Every time you choose to put it in a savings account or to spend it on something frivolous, you are literally giving away future time that you could have spent with your family, doing things you're passionate about, doing something you care about. Instead, you're choosing to get up and go to work another day. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but I have a feeling those people watching finance YouTube channels, that's not your goal. You're a little bit more invested in your future. So what is an ETF? We're talking about those 3 ETFs, right? So an exchange traded fund is a type of security that tracks an index, sector, commodity, or other asset, but which can be purchased or sold on a stock exchange the same as a regular stock. An ETF can be structured to track anything from the price of an individual commodity to a large and diverse collection of securities. ETFs can even be structured to track specific investment strategies. Now, you've probably heard of ETFs before, and you probably think these are just really big picture items where some people are putting their money, but most people are chasing the individual stocks, right? Let's take a look at exactly how many people and how much money are being funneled into ETFs. Look at the graph here from 2003 to 2020. This is the increase seen in money invested in the trillions into ETFs worldwide. By 2020, $7.74 trillion was invested in ETFs alone worldwide. Now let's look at this chart as well. From 2006 to 2020, this is the number of millionaire households in the US during that time frame. It's gone up from 7.9 to 10.5 million households in the US with over $1 million. And yes, the overall stock market is contributing significantly to this growth as people continue to invest their money into the markets to allow that compounding interest and growth to increase their portfolios and reach that millionaire status. But it's not far-fetched to assume that some of these people who have become millionaires in the last 10 years, 15 years, did so as a result of investing more and more of their money into ETFs and allowing them to kind of passively become a millionaire by just setting up constant, evolving investments month over month, year over year into a very simple ETF. And that's exactly what we're talking about doing. All right, so we're finally going to talk about exactly which 3 ETFs I'm invested in and which 3 you should seriously consider for your portfolio. And we're going to look at these by how much they have actually returned over the last 5 years. So the number 1 ETF we're talking about today is the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, or VTI. And this tracks the entire stock market, guys. They were trading at about $228.87 today. Of course, it's a Sunday, so they're not actively trading. But look at the 5-year return. They have made over 104% in the last 5 years. Now, when you compare that to that savings account, right, getting about 0.5% every year, this is an astronomical growth that they have been able to take advantage of when compared to putting money in a savings account, right? And this definitely far exceeds the inflation rate. So say you put $1,000 into that ETF 5 years ago. Well, the APY ends up breaking down to about 20.8%. If you took that 104 or something and divided it by 5, that's what you're getting on average every year. Obviously, it's fluctuating, right? But that's the average. So if you had the same $1,000 that we looked at for our savings account earlier in this video, your end result wouldn't be $1,025. And it wouldn't have been seriously affected by inflation. You would have over $2,500 in the same time frame as your money continued to grow and increase your portfolio size as you pursued your financial freedom. Number 2 on our list is the Vanguard 500 Index Fund ETF, and that ticker symbol is VOO. They're trading at about 406.86, up 102.95% in the past 5 years. So the last 2 we've looked at have over doubled in their price in 5 years alone, okay? So this is another one that has an absolutely fantastic option for you to invest your money in now and for the long run, continue to dollar cost average as you have the opportunity and grow your portfolio size along with the S&P 500. Showcasing that same graph just to keep some level of continuity here, $1,000 with an APY in this individual ETF at about 20.4% over a year in a 5-year time frame, you're looking at still over $2,500 in a 5-year time frame. So absolutely destroying any savings account you might have chosen to keep that money in for whatever reason. Last but not least, the third ETF I am invested in that you should seriously consider. You guys know I'm a huge dividend fan. Well, the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, ticker symbol VYM. They were trading at about 106.48 at close on Friday, and they are up 45.62% in the last 5 years. Guys, that number does not include dividends paid in that 5-year time frame. That is just growth of the stock price or the ETF price alone. Again, for continuity's sake, that same $1,000, you'd see about a 9.12 yield every single year over a 5-year time frame. And instead of having $1,025 like you had in that savings account, just on growth alone, you would have $1,547.11 at the end of those 5 years. But remember, this does not include those dividends. So if you set up the drip for this ETF and continued to reallocate your dividends, you would be significantly above that $1,500.47 mark. I think one of the ironies in investing in the stock market is that sometimes it's really that simple, right? Sometimes if you don't understand what you're looking at, you get on YouTube and you watch a video that teaches you something, or that explains something in a way that you can understand. If you don't know which stocks to buy, well, there's an ETF so that you don't have to know which stocks to buy. You can have your diversification and you can track an entire index so that you can just jump on the bandwagon of something that you trust and believe in and that has 50, 100 years worth of success behind it, okay? So it really just is that simple, guys. You need to determine how you're going to invest your money so that when you're saving your income from your job, you can utilize that to grow your portfolio and push yourself closer to that financial independence so that you can retire to whatever you're passionate about, okay? We're not retiring from our job. We're not retiring from whatever we're doing today, because that's the wrong way to look at this. Don't retire from something. Retire to something. Find something you're passionate about and work towards a goal, not away from something. That's it for today's video, guys. I can't make it any longer than this, otherwise I'm going to lose a lot of people's interest. But those are the 3 ETFs that I'm personally invested in and that I'm going to continue to dollar cost average into as I go forward towards my own personal goals of financial independence and retiring early. But let me know what you guys think about VYM, VOO, and VTI in the comment section down below. Are you invested in them? Have you considered investing in them? Why not if you haven't started already? Maybe you're more of a Tesla and Apple guy and you're just taking advantage of that massive volatility, and I can understand that. But consider having a separate portfolio that is going to get you these gains slow and steady and work towards your retirement with a little less volatility. And I know anytime I make a video touching on FIRE or financial independence as a whole, I get a lot of awesome questions from you guys. So please keep them coming. Ask me anything at all about FIRE or financial independence and the retire early movement in the comment section down below. I will answer as many of them as I can. But thank you guys so much for checking out today's video. If you haven't already, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to try to bring as much of this FIRE content to you as I can, because I know that you guys do enjoy this type of content and I enjoy bringing it to you guys. Every time I create a video like this, I end up learning as much, doing the research and setting it up as I do teaching it to you guys. So hopefully it's benefiting both of us. Thank you so much for checking out today's video again, and until next time, bottoms up.